What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. I might have taken yesterday off, you might have taken yesterday off, but you know what never sleeps? It's the Yu-Gi-Oh! Market. A ton of prices have been changing, and time again, I'm reminded I probably shouldn't get rid of any of my generic good stuff. Despite so many reprints on some of these cards, mid-max slash every single version for some have just gone up and up in price over time despite reprints. Now, Hida, the Fire Charmer, we can see even recently it was up higher in price than off-season ban list fears, etc. That huge ban list created a ton of hype and it's been skyrocketing in price. Luckily, we still have easy access versions, but alongside it, Dark, the little gloomy guy over here, is going up in price. Its mid-max has started spiking and going off of the market, only 31 listings because no one wants to open any 25th anniversary tin, so that ultra rare seems pretty hard to get because there's just not too many floating around, and its Starlight rare is also going way up, but luckily we have that super rare easy access version for now. Just look at it going consistently up, rumbling through here, and now it's towards 260. Actually the lowest English copies besides one seller here at 255 are pretty much 260. So when it comes to cards like these, they just find their ways back into decks when they're useful. Right now, Fire Kings can actually go into another generic card, Link Karibo, to go up into Dark, and look at this. Despite having so many different easy access versions, from a structure deck, from a maximum gold letter rare, that ultra rare without foiling, and a dual power, those $30 MSRP sets that are ripped open en masse, Link Karibo is back up here towards a minimum of $8, and the Advent Calendar version, probably not the easiest in the world to get at this point, is starting to spike up past the Jump Magazine. I would consider the Jump Magazine the highest rarity version personally in my book, but multiple ultra rare slash ultra rare without foiling here. Take your pick realistically on which version you like the most or is cheapest. I just have an affinity towards those Jump versions, that old nostalgia hit of locking Europe out of cards for years. Sorry, I couldn't help that joke. Absolute King Backjack here is seeing some play in Labyrinth, topping the results, and my Discord was telling me about the plays, how you pitch it, and that ends up being pretty good, where you're using those in-card hands, getting that advantage. And the gold rare is spiking up. I think 250 is about the lowest now if you actually were to click on it, but you have a ton of easy access versions, so if you're just trying to play it in your Labyrinth deck, not a huge rush with over 300 listings over here for the Tama rare. Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils Quarter Century Secret Rare is going through the roof, mainly because so is the Secret Rare, which is at $115. This is a friendly reminder, if you have the budget, it often is best to get the highest rarity version when they're closer in price, but we can see here, 165, it spiked up some time ago here as people started going, I'll spend the extra 50, and now it's like almost an extra 100 to end up getting this copy of the card. There's just no way to play this deck for cheap, period now. Chaos Angel went crazy after the ban list, and I'm being told that in Labyrinth you play 3 of these along with Extrav so that you end up having to max with it. This had been kind of flirting with going down, going up, going down in price. You can even see just the rolls in this graph where people are like, is it that important right now? Is it cheaper? It is, I think, $95 lowest right now on the market. Yeah, 94, then 95, 96. Those are the only 3 copies on the front page. That's absolutely crazy, and I think somebody spent stupid money on here. Yeah, $129, 2 copies at that price. 124, 129 during maximum hype. That's just wild. Bestial Lubellion, Dragon Link's Always Never Dead. This card is going way up, though, and I've seen so much more play of the Bestial package as well in the high ranks of Master Duel, so you could also have Master Duel duels trying to really transition on over into the physical card game competitively, as the hype is just so much there from the Worlds competition road, and it's been a show to watch and a ton of actual physical hype from Master Duel to our game. Bestials is probably something they're very familiar with, which is actually still very good in our game right now. Diviner of Herald is most likely a combination of you could play it in something now with that extra good support coming up in, I believe it's Phantom Nightmare. I try to always get these sets names down, but we have the Ubel set coming. I feel like Phantom Nightmare is an older set. I'm starting to combine set names in my head at this point, going crazy. But yeah, Diviner of Herald bouncing back up super low on quantities. If you want yours, you might want to get it sooner than later using that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra. Support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. Sunlight Wolf's Ghost Rare only has 3 listings, but looking all around, every single version of Sunlight Wolf is starting to go lower on quantity. The deck was pretty easy access, but the duels pack stuff keeps going up because no one wants to rip that open, a common problem with today's cards and card prices. I feel like remembering this being a $15 rare, the drama around that, the potential here for it, it was probably eventually going to do something again, but a lot of people probably didn't think so soon. It really does feel like all the toss decks keep getting talked about right now. Sleap here, the Runic Mane, its secret rare is big up. I guess killing a few floodgates wasn't enough to hurt this deck, as people are buying into it hard because there's more floodgates around the corner. You can just play Summon Limit or something else, right? Sleap here is continuing to spike also for its quarter century secret rare, and pretty much a double up if you bought during the little coolant that we actually got in our winter season and banlist fears. Orchestrated Return, this is what I just missed from banlist hype with Orcust. It has gone pretty crazy for a ghost from the past ultra rare, and then the OG secret rare is pretty much non-existent on the market for right now. Soul Release, this is apparently the pack tax talking about this against Fire Kings and shutting down their plays. The super rare from the Secret Forces is huge up, and many other quantities have started to go pretty much down in quantities. OG Metal Raiders, I have to imagine, is a slew of damaged copies in here, but we do have the starter deck Pegasus 2, which probably suffers the same thing, and we see many of like the speed duel commons here going out of quantities up in price, but Dark Beginnings one. Again, with cards these old, damaged listings are going to make it a weird snapshot looking in. Highest rarity is big up. Then I wanted to talk about some cards that have really sunk in price recently. Can you guess which one this is? Because we brought it up 3 times. It's Pot of Greed Quarter Century Secret Rare, which was $150, then $120, but getting sales at $120. And this is how fast it falls sometimes when people get it in hand and get those copies. Look at this. Sale 135, 140, 100, 115. And now we're looking at people saying, please take it at 78. Come on, buy into it. And with many different copies on hand. I feel like that Pot of Prosperity coming after all those reprints was a huge kind of curveball. Many people buying deep into these didn't expect, where I'm just happy to get the figures, and the cards were a bonus for me. But the cards are the more unique part of this, since the figures also exist in the OCG, kind of like the KC briefcase. It's going to be the cards that set aside both those products. Magicians of Bond and Unity, just so down bad. It continues to get worse. I'm not trying to kick you while you're down if you bought into this while it was up, but do consider when something is new, there's multiple ways it can go. 10,000 Dragon went crazy. The Utopia alongside it eventually went up despite how open that set was. But when it comes to this one with 5 different iterations, completing the line's not going to happen until all those sets are out. And then on top of it, people are going to have to really want to try to make it a thing among all those sets and push that kind of money into it. It would take deep and trusted wallets, along with people saying that this is a great buy, with rarity collection looming and people going, you know, they can just reprint anything anytime. I feel like people are more selective with the playability of those cards they're investing into at this point for past formats. And I call it an investment in terms of I'm making a full max rarity past format deck. I'm putting my collection binder and making it look nice to me. That's what I mean. Investing your time, your research, and your money into higher rarity cards. This is not a financial advisor channel. I don't know the future of card prices. I don't know your budget and that kind of stuff to be giving that advice. When it comes to stuff like this, it does seem less appealing to the market as a whole, especially when it's kind of shoved down people's throats. So this one, down bad at the moment. Also, I wanted to point out with Battles of Legend, the quarter century rares continue to bubble up and bubble up. But when you're only looking at 4 per case, I believe it is, with 25 different ones, well, it's not easy to pull those specific ones. Yet so many of these are at $60 now, and some of the cards in the set have bubbled. This flop of a set is around $53 a box because Battles of Legend historically is usually pretty successful, but Konami's been running flagships into the ground lately. Let's not call it anything else. They've been ruining stuff like the 10s and Battles of Legend. This one doesn't seem so bad to me when it comes to its high rarity stuff, but just doesn't have backing inside. Like Zeus is about to get reprinted again, right? Then you have Duality, a unique card in here, Sky Striker in here. They did some decent cards, but they just haven't panned out as big or as needed in a format as many of those past power reprints. And then speaking of past power reprints, a lot of these ended up in the 10s anyways. Double dip reprints. That was so good, let's do it again. So with this sealed, I want to know your thoughts. I think eventually it could do something even with just the high rarity, but I do feel like it needs a little bit more backing from inside. And do you think that potential is there, or do you think this is just going to continue to sink like many other sets that have good quarter century secret rares, and then these are going to be what continues to go up despite it's starting to look like it might be worth hunting stuff in it? The rarity's just too spread out. I feel good about this set personally with how many are good and how many have that legacy and how handpicked it feels, but at the same time, those pull ratios just, it doesn't add up. So I have mixed feelings towards it. I want to actually sort it out through the comment section and hear what you have to say about Battles of Legend. I wanted to finish out with 3 cards that actually went way down in price, / the set that went down despite cards going up, because I feel like it's fun not to always just talk about skyrocketing, buyout, this, that, like it's a huge part of the market, but it's also good to go around and look at what recently and very quickly fell off. Thanks for watching, everybody.